Dr. Otto Octavius has entered the series. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with episode 5 of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And yeah, last episode we got the big surprise of Doc Ock. And it seems like this muscle-bound lady who was working for these like small-time criminals. She apparently was a secret what would be the word? She was secretly working for Doc Ock. So we assume that everybody has been getting their tech from Ock, all the tech we've been seeing. And it looked like the tech had like an OO on it, so it's like Otto Octavius. That makes sense. I'm definitely interested to see how he starts to have like a big role in this all. Because they were setting up the Scorpions in the opening and all as well. And I brought up the idea last time that it's like, oh, maybe Peter as Spider-Man fights Doc Ock, and Lonnie fights Scorpion, because Scorpion is connected to Lonnie and the gang. But that wouldn't make a lot of sense because the opening shows like him with like Spider-Man and everything, and it's like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna be the case. I don't think it's gonna be like perfectly split like that. Excuse me. I'm thinking Doc Ock is probably going to be a villain for now, and it's probably going to lead into the Scorpion later. Because based on the opening and everything, Scorpion's probably going to be the final villain of the season. Unless Norman like reveals himself to be bad and ends up like becoming a final villain at the last minute. I don't know. We'll see. But Harry knows now about Peter being Spider-Man. So he is presumably going to help out with Norman and Peter. It just seems like their inner circle's getting a lot wider. A lot quicker than you would think. Definitely interested to see what other stuff continues on. I've been really enjoying Lonnie's story. He's definitely, like, not in the best situation. But I like the nuances and depths at which they're taking his plot. And I'm definitely interested to see what more continues on with the other characters. And like how Nico and Peter's relationship continues, how Pearl's relationship with both Peter and Lonnie continues. There's a lot of interesting ideas set up, and I'm not sure where it's going right now. So I think the best idea would be to just watch and find out. Not really much else to say, so let's get into this episode and see what we have in store. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So it seems that Lonnie is starting to get more inducted into the gang, and he's starting to kind of like fall into it himself, which is not great. Because he's been resisting this entire time. He did it to save his brother, and he didn't really want to be part of the gang. And on top of that, he's also like, being distracted from football and everything. But like with the positive attention he got here from Big Don and the others, you could see that that did affect him, and you could see that like he actually really appreciated that. Which again is not a good thing because it means that he's falling in line and is probably going to be a lot more loyal to the gang than he was before. He's gotten his name Tombstone as well now, so that's that's interesting. That the name is just already coming in before like he would even like have the skin condition come into play. But it's very it's very wild to see what they're doing with him because he's definitely on an arc centering around him, his downfall, going from like this star athlete, super smart guy, a genuinely good person, and he's like falling down this negative path. Meanwhile, you have Peter, who's like getting better at being Spider-Man, getting all this new tech and stuff. He has now Harry as as part of Team Spider-Man as well. But while all of that's going well, his relationship with Nico is becoming strained, and he doesn't even realize it. Nico is having trouble, like, with the fact that Peter is not ignoring her per se, but from her perspective, kind of becoming a little distant. And she doesn't know why, and I'm wondering, like, what's going to happen when she eventually finds out, because she's got to find out. But the issues between them are only growing. And the fact that like Peter has now started hanging out with Harry and is even inviting Harry like very suddenly and out of nowhere to this thing that was supposed to be about him and Nico. It's like, yeah, that's not okay. If you invite a friend out to do something, just the two of you, and then you just out of nowhere, like spur of the moment, invite someone else without telling that friend that you're going to do that until like literally they show up at that time, that's not okay. That's not okay. Because the thing is, like, it's been implied that Peter is her first real friend, and she connected very strongly with him to the point where now it's like on top of the distance that's been growing between them because of Peter, taking up this internship and being a little more distant from her. Now she feels like she has to like fight for his attention with Harry, someone who she's not even a big fan of. Like, even though she follows him and all, she doesn't really like the rich elite, which is fair, extremely fair. Mind you, like, we can see that Harry's not like a self-centered piece of shit or anything. He does seem like a lonely person who does acknowledge the the silver spoon he grew up with. He's not a bad dude. He's just, he was born into this money. And you could see also that his father didn't even know what age he was. He didn't know he was 16 already, which kind of implies that his father may not like be the most attentive to him. Definitely not to the level that he needs. So it's like, yeah, from our perspective, we can see why he invited Harry and we can see like the connections there. But again, from Nico's perspective, it's like having to now fight for attention for her best and only like real friend. It's like, yeah, that's gotta hurt. That's really gotta hurt Nico. And I don't blame her for that. I don't blame her for that at all. She's she's like kind of losing the one connection she had made. And that's always hard. Like I grew up never having a lot of friends myself. Like I never like hung out with a lot of people outside of like my church group, which it's like there's a little more of a connection there than like just random than people at school and stuff. I was always kind of an outsider. I would always sit on my own at lunch and everything. I was never like super outgoing. I had a lot of social anxiety. I kind of still do, just not as much as I did back then. And so all of that kind of manifested into a lot of self doubt growing up. And when I did have friends, like when they chose to spend time with other friends, or like we were supposed to hang out and they'd invite another friend, like, yeah, it felt bad. Because it's like I wanted to spend time alone with this friend of mine, and just hang out because it meant something to me. Our relationship like meant something. And then all of a sudden it's like they invite someone else that I don't even know, and it's just like, oh. And I'm like, I try to be nice and everything. I try to act like it's okay, but it's like I don't know who this person is. I don't know how to act around them. And again, I have social anxiety, so that doesn't help. And I feel like it's a lot of the same worries are going through Nico right now. And for those of us with social anxieties as well, a lot of times we can also like convince ourselves of things that aren't necessarily true just because of our own panic attacking us. Like I know in those kind of situations when those kind of things happen to me, I was always wondering like, okay, is my friend like comparing me to this other friend and is gonna like choose them over me and just I always like had these anxieties over stuff like that. And so I wonder if Nico's kind of going through the same thing there. Meanwhile, we have at the beginning of this episode, Doc Ock still setting up more for him. He gives Mila this helmet, or well, she buys it from him, and she becomes the unicorn. Um, they reference the idea of the rhino, which I'm wondering. Like, Mikhail isn't the name of the rhino in like the comics and all, right? It was something else. I'm trying to remember from the games because it's mentioned in the games. Um, I can't think of it though for the life of me. Um, but I mean, I don't know. There might be some connection still because he is Russian. But Mila becomes the unicorn with this helmet, and ends up being a real big problem because not only does it shoot lasers, but it has the ability to like project what the opponent's going to do and how they're going to move and everything. It's a really high tech gadget, and it works for a while. But her using Mikhail as bait kind of like fucks everything up, and he turns against her in a way. So that was a thing. They're definitely setting up more for this crew in the future. I feel like with Mikhail like threatening Spider-Man there. I feel like this crew's going to be a recurring antagonist, and I mean I'm good for that. I mean I'm good for seeing more of Mila. um, I like buff women, and she definitely fits that criteria. Kind of made a joke about it in the reaction where she like picked up Spider Man and started like doing the bear hug on him, and I'm like, I wouldn't mind that. It's like, hold me in your muscles, mommy. Listen, Let me be horny for the hot muscle woman. Everybody has their type. Muscular women is definitely one of mine. And honestly, she's just generally attractive, like even outside of the muscles. Like I just find her to be like very, very cute. I like her eyes, like her blue eyes and everything. It's like they're really pretty. I really like blue eyes though, to be fair. Anyway, so that entire kind of battle and action going on with that was pretty cool. The fight with the gangs, the Scorpions and the street gang, I can't remember what the number is. Um, it was neat, but it was less about the fight and more about like Lonnie's um part to play in all of it and the way he saved Big Don and everything. So yeah, it was definitely more about him becoming like truly becoming part of the gang at this point. I wonder how this is going to affect his relationship with Pearl. That's a big thing I've been wondering because the opening shows Peter with Pearl very notably. Like he saves her and everything after it shows Scorpion and all. I'm wondering if like Lonnie's gonna unintentionally put Pearl in danger in regards to this street fight stuff. She meant it showed in this episode that she's like willing to like listen in on conversations. I wonder if she's gonna overhear something like him talking about a plan with the gang and follow him, and Peter's gonna have to end up rescuing her. And Lonnie putting her in danger, even if accidental, that's going to affect him. And I wonder how how their relationship's going to struggle from that. I feel like there's a lot of potential here with just how we see the opening and what we're like setting up for Lonnie's character in this episode. Um, this is getting very very good. I've been enjoying these episodes generally, but it's really starting to like hit its stride where we're starting to like get into the meat of things, and I'm very very invested to see what happens next in that regard. So, for now, tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.